Okay, so moving on from the last point that I made, where Jesus talks about the first and greatest commandment. Actually, that uh, Matthew verse that I quoted previously is used again by Jesus in Luke, the Gospel of Luke, where he's questioned by an expert in the law. And starting from Luke chapter 10, verses 25 to 37, we get what in the Bible is referred to as the parable of the Good Samaritan. So Jesus is explaining this idea of your neighbor that he refers to when he says that we should love our neighbor. And he gives us this story, effectively. It's what a parable is. It's kind of a story that gives you, a moral to the story, like a moral teaching, is what a parable is, effectively. It's my understanding. So he, down here in verse 29, the teacher of the law says, wanting to justify himself, he asks Jesus, and who is my neighbor? So if I have to love my neighbor, this lawyer guy is saying, then who is my neighbor? That could be, is it the guy that lives next door to me, the guy that lives across the street, the guy that lives in my neighborhood? Who is my neighbor for practical purposes, as me as a Christian? Who are my neighbors if I'm to apply this teaching? So Jesus gives us the story of, or the parable of the Good Samaritan to explain who the neighbor is. And he says, a man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho when he was attacked by robbers. They stripped him of his clothes, beat him, and went away, leaving him half dead. A priest happened to be going down the same road, and when he saw the man, he passed by on the other side. So too a Levite, when he came to the place and saw him, passed by on the other side. But a Samaritan, as he travelled, came where the man was, and when he saw him, he took pity on him. He went to him and bandaged his wounds, pouring on oil and wine. Then he put the man on his own donkey, brought him to an inn, and took care of him. The next day he took out 2 denarii, coins, and gave them to the innkeeper. Look after him, he said, and when I return, I will reimburse you for any extra expense you may have. Then Jesus said, which of these 3 do you think was a neighbor to the man who fell into the hands of robbers? The expert in the law replied, the one who had mercy upon him. And Jesus said to the expert in the law, go and do likewise. So basically, what Jesus is saying here in this parable is that the neighbor of all Christians is a person that's in need of our help, our care, our love as a Christian. So if we come by somebody, somebody comes to us with a need, then we should respond to them as they are our neighbor. They are this person in need. So if they're a person in genuine need, they're our neighbor. So to love them is what Jesus would want us to do. Love those people around us who are in need. It seems simple enough. But of course, our human nature is not great, and we find it difficult to do that. But take it on as a challenge. And you'll find in life normally that the more things you do to love others, the more you will grow as a Christian, and you will have a greater capacity to love. And that is an an empowering thing. Believe me. God bless, and I'll talk to you next time.